Everything that KT wants to do with this Wukong, Ahri, Gwen can be really messed up by just putting rocks on the ground and also by a really nice slicing Maelstrom from Zeus. It is a pretty unique response, and I like it. So far, it's working a treat for Zeus. He has the champion mastery for it, so it does make a lot of sense. We're seeing Zeus really be kind of a master chef in terms of some of these top lane picks that he's pulled out earlier. Like, he wasn't the guy pulling out the Yorick first, but
perfect on a little bit of a back timer himself, goes back and gets the blasting one. That is going to be Cuz on the grubs here, so that will give Perfect, theoretically, some power later on in the game. That's if he gets over this hump that we're seeing at this particular stage. Zeka moving in does get the information that these grubs are being taken, but I don't think that it's going to be something they can fight for, as Peanut is just heading over towards the Raptors right now. KT with control of the top side of the map is going to allow them to at least lock down their first objective of the game, equalizing things with HLE after that dragon was taken earlier on, and he absolutely did. There's continuing the zone though, as we can see. Clips goes up here for Peter. Thinking about a re-engage, does have Solar Flare available, as Zeka from over the wall will deter him from that. There's the Magnastorm crash down though, the seismic shove onto two, True Shot Barrage over everyone as well, and Cuz goes down in the blink of an eye, and HLE, they lock down first blood and they get another one for their trouble. Pick up any aggro here either, as there is a minion wave, and Doctarm's moving in. Perfect is dead, ladies and gentlemen. The exhaust does so much work though. Doctarm will be able to finish that one off, but a 1-for-1, that is not what KT were looking for, as Feats of Warfare come in as well at the same time.
Yeah, it looks like a bizarre decision-making call there from Zeus to go in with the exhaust there, but I think he dies no matter what, so just wants to commit in with the flash there. Some up and down performances on the Leona throughout his career, so I think the individual performances here, I'll hold that thought, perfect.
Grand Starfall comes in, Perfect is not going to be getting out of this one. Stun lasted for what felt like forever. And down he will go. That is Peanut locking that one up. Cuz going to move in.
This is a nice buffer again here from Viper. He has a matchup advantage and he just doesn't care. Still has ult, by the way.
Yep. And there is the slicing Maelstrom. Doesn't exactly do too much here as Cuz moves in, but will get stunned at exactly the right time. Zeus avoids the slowdown, but still he is going to be dead. An assist going over to this Gwen is good as well. But BDD dies on the bottom side of the map as Zeka throws some rocks into him, and Delight feels like he's exactly where he needs to be all game long.
I think BDD might have been able to flash that engage, but we'll have to look back in the replay and see. He does have his flash available. Decided to try to use his ult instead. Is punished here. So what looked like it was a great start for KT does kind of backfire. They are able to get the first turret, which is pretty huge.
Kind of a big deal. Denies Feats of Strength going down immediately as well.
Yeah, pretty significant. And we'll see who gets that next objective. The Herald has spawned, so
on this Rift Herald first. We'll keep things up in the air unless Peanut can get a nice smite. Zeus is moving in, slicing Maelstrom available as Cuz goes in before Zeus can get into the right position. Still, he goes down extraordinarily fast as well. Doctarm wanting to set up the curtains, and he's not going to be able to do so, as HLE should be able to take down Shelly here. And there is not going to be a response now that the jungler is down for KT. It is bad to worse here for the roller coaster.
Doctarm, man, remember there's a Pantheon on the other team who's being very aggressive with his positioning. Is looking for a pick on Delight.
Yeah, Charm goes in. Peanut's here though, and Zeus is also moving over. Solar Flare going to get a stun, but Delight just, it seems like he presses any of his buttons and someone dies in this game. And BDD takes a shuriken to the face and does not want that, as this cannon is so incredibly strong. He's still around here wanting to stop Peanut from having a good time, but Peanut is not going to worry about it at all.
Yeah, empowered recall for Zeus means he was never in any danger. Zeka's going to get this turret, and look where Zeus goes, just straight to the bottom lane, which I don't know if we'll watch because we have the Drake being taken alive, but we are going to watch it. It's just, you gave Delight an engage, basically, and he's like, well, thank you very much. And Zeus can still follow up. He's very fast on this cannon, and he picks up another kill, so KT just biting off way more than they could chew in that situation.
Well, Viper was driving Shelly there for a moment.
What's that was set up by laning. And Viper's looking to steal.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall comes on in here as KT are in so much trouble. Doctarm able to flash himself away though, and there are some knockups. Zeka going down low. Peanut as well will be taken out. And this is not the engage they were looking for. You're going to need maybe another exhaust here for this cannon, but no, never mind. It's a double kill, and this is the HLE we've been waiting for all game.
There it is. There's the overextension. There's the happy gaming. He doesn't even necessarily need it. BDD does not, so he can't even be here.
Well, Doctarm is going to be able to throw in some grenades here. Delight taking a little bit of damage is Perfect. Moving on over. True Shot Barrage not going to hit the mark. As Cuz, if they want to get something done, he's going to have to get in there pretty dang soon. I think he's going to be able to get there, and it's the steal away. Peanut also going to get blown up by that bullet. And HLE lose their jungler and the fight for the Otacon.
Yeah,
and
100%.
KT are given the ability to decide when they want to engage. The light was low. KT did their homework. It worked out, and HLE didn't have to really do that. As now, Infernal Soul on the table. Peter taking a lot of damage and will just blow up. The exhaust comes out from beyond the grave, but now 4 versus 5. This is not how KT want to be doing this, and so they're going to have to give up the Infernal Soul. We're pretty sure, as now Peanut with a little bit of a shield wall, and I don't know whether Cuz is going to be able to get in here and take this one out, as Deadly Flourish almost gets it done, and now Charm is going to connect. Over the wall goes BDD, managing to find one. The resets are starting to come in, but Zeus gets over the wall. BDD in so much trouble, and he will be able to get the Fox Lady. They are representing a lot of damage. Cuz gets over, finds a Cyclone onto Viper here as Peanut comes in, but Peter doesn't get the Solar Flare, looks for the Shield of Daybreak. He flashes in between 2 walls and is feeling very uncomfortable. We'll get a bit of a shield here though, as Delight still looking for a little bit of an angle. The Magna Storm is decent. There goes Peter finally, but they trade it for Delight immediately. And now Peanut gets in there, blows up the monkey very, very quickly, but he might actually be sacrificed for it. No, BDD not able to quite get there. Doctarm and BDD trying to stop Zeka from just murdering them. Look at this. The amount of damage this Talia does is kind of absurd. As Doctarm walks forward, gets that last bullet, and then says, no, I don't think I have very much more left in the chamber.
Is just like, I can clean up if we need to, if fight actually breaks up. But now side lane control goes to Hanwha Life Esports as KT couldn't lock down Vision, and that's a free turret. They used the Elder to grab a turret.
Yep.
Potential trade opportunity.
Oh, Doctarm could be in trouble here, but does have the Ghost Blade, gets himself out. Still 50% gone on that health bar as Cuz looking to try and get out of the way. Viper just playing gatekeeper right now as Peter. I don't think he's allowed to be there, as the curtain call is just not in position to save his Leona at all, and she will just go down. Unfortunate there as Peter just caught a little bit too far up.
Yeah, I'd love to see a vision toggle, because it almost feels like that would have been a misclick from Doctarm. Maybe they had no vision of anyone else, and we're like,
yeah, I think they needed to check the Elder, is what it looked like there, as Doctarm flashing preemptively as Zeus finds the flank angle. The Elder down to 50% health. And
I think it's just gonna go. I think it's just gone unless Cuz gets a Miracle Steal. He has Flash.
I mean, he's Wukong. He's pretty tricksy, as they'll need to get some vision in there if they ever want to find anything. In the end, what they do is just nothing. And now the Weaver's Wall going to break this one up. Viper gets over the wall, but look at this. The Dragon is angry, and it eats 2 immediately. BDD now going to be the next target here as Cuz is flying the wrong direction. And now Viper, realizing that he can just Arcane Shift forward, will just take down the Ahri. Peter is going to respawn and wonder what the heck he's respawning into, because the Angry Dragon comes down from the sky once again. And KT, unfortunately, will not be able to fight back at all. They just lose, and that will be their Nexus going down. HLE, yeah, they gave them a couple of opportunities, as they like to do, but this is, in the end, pretty elementary.
Yeah, they certainly want to get, okay.
Zeus just doing the going in thing as the Dragon comes down. That is going to be the ace.
All right, well, they wanted to wait for minions is why they were standing there, is what I was going to say, but they also want to wait for champions to come out of the fountain to kill them, and then kill the Nexus, which they promptly do. Bard is so good in this situation. It could have been the Nico we saw hovered as well. I think either of these picks really fit the bill. I think the only one I would have not really liked would have been like a Karma here. You just don't really need that. So he's down a Flash here. Sure, it's a trade of flashes, but you feel fantastic about this one. So they're going to look for a redive. I don't know about this.
Well, if at first you don't succeed, try again, everyone. That's what you're supposed to do.
He lives.
Almost goes down. Perfect is going to be able to get the rest of these minions.
To the Jace. So Zeus picks up an even larger lead here in this matchup. And this was the matchup I was most unhappy about in terms of what they did with this draft.
Yep. I mean, it's a rough matchup, but we do see Scions just picked so that they can exist and then be more valuable later. He's also able to get some grass procs here, which is kind of nice.
Resistance shred on his Gatling gun.
Doctarm. A little bit of a tag there from Doctarm onto Zeus. Only level 5. Spear going to miss, as we can see, but the sidestep has to come in, so Zeus knows he will not be able to get away. Frost shot just a little bit too strong, and Doctarm able to put down the Jace. That is great here for KT.
it was hype earlier this season. They got a pentakill on Ashe in the Sion composition. And if you have that front to back, it is very strong.
Oh yeah, Peanut in a little bit of trouble here as the Impale just avoided on both sides. Gorgeously played here by KT. The takedown not quite enough as Peanut pushes Cuz into the wall. Peter is following them though as the Winter's Bite comes down. Viper cleanses the slow. They get rid of the Victor and now Cuz has pounced back in. The drive-by onto the Scorpion. And what's like, KT, how are they all still alive?
I mean, they just played it so well there, and Peanut gets caught in the jungle. All the attention there in the middle of the map around Peanut's jungle. There's no attention here to the bottom side, but Perfect has held his own.
Yeah.
We'll actually even make Zeus tanky turret shot there, but
away here by Perfect, but I don't think he misses out on too much. Death Ray is able to clear up the backline pretty comfortably now. And so I think that the Victor is going to be A-OK. Peanut moving in, looking for a little bit of a target. The arrow going to come on through here from Doctarm, but there are a lot of bad guys in this area, and he is just dead. Cut down by the piercing arrow. Nicely played there by Viper. Cuz gets here a little bit too late as now BDD and Zeus are fighting. Perfect will show up though. Roar the Slayer to slow him down. The flash comes in, but the rocket is prepared.
maybe you were onto something today, Atlas.
Well, I did say it had to be a 2-0, so KT would definitely still be disappointing if they win.
If they lose game 1, the only way to make that 50-50 is to win game 2.
Oh yeah, and then we're up to a fresh 50-50 from that point on, I guess.
Zeka is in trouble and likely dead.
He is, yeah, definitely big time not alive.
The reason why that last play happened, too, we'll probably get a replay of, man, Zeka, he looked unhappy about what went down just there. It turned the tide, but the mid lane was controlled by Perfect. He pushed the wave in, then they made a play bottom side where they basically tempted Zeka to go down, right? They like drew him in, Peanut had that opportunity there, and then they got away.
It looked like a lot of other Skarners we've had in the LCK. It just doesn't feel like it's the same power level as Zeka. Zeka is really going to struggle to get out of the way of this one. Peanut's going to move over, but it looks like with a flash, it is going to work out here for Zeka. And the kitty cat going to get closed in on by Viper, who locks down yet another one.
Because he was able to outplay the Impale last time, but not this time.
That looked really close.
It was really close. Zeus in this top lane matchup as well as BDD.
Yeah, he's going to have to find a direction to Valkyrie. He does so. Magical Journey comes on through. The flash forward from Delight gets the flash out from BDD. And the Arcane Storm comes in. Will he have his Valkyrie available? The answer is he doesn't need it because he's got a Braum coming up. As Perfect has just gone Battle Scion now, as he won't find the Roar of the Slayer, but does hit a little Q onto Zeus. The flash forward. Spear will connect. And Cuz able to get on over there to at least watch him go down.
All right, Zeka's going to get a turret in exchange here, but that is a massive win. And the Sion starting to really come online here as well after that play. You can see Peter is up on the top side of the map to deny any sort of rotation over. Peanut seen on this ward. No backs will be stopped, so great play there. Going to get this Herald as Hanolife scramble to try to make a cross map happen in the bottom side of the jungle where Zeus has Prio there. And they're not really
in 40 seconds as well. If they get the Herald, use that to crash mid, they create so much added control.
I mean, Zeka went for Blackfire Torch first, which is not going to help him in the side lane really at all. I mean, look at him pushing the bottom lane. I think they're just simply going to give this up. I mean, he can TP in, but it's going to be very awkward to force a fight.
And you never want to give it up. You never want to let him down, Wolf.
No.
But it's what's going to happen this time around. Peanut not going to be able to get in there, and Cuz should be able to lock this one through. There it goes. And now Zeus could be in trouble. Remember, Perfect doesn't have the ulti, but he's still so sticky, able to slow down this Jace. He's walking the wrong direction, and BDD, if Perfect doesn't have the damage, BDD definitely does.
It's just kind of bizarre decision-making in that moment. I understand the idea of just letting the Drake go and trying to push Zeus into the side, but he, of course, is on vision. Somebody has to come shadow him at least if you're going to give the Dragon. He has no idea where they are.
Yeah, and whoever has the vision has so much control because they have all of those poke tools. HLE going to move in, but they're not going to be contesting this Cloud Soul. As Peanut wanting to set up for a potential Impale. He'll find a Braum who has the door up. They still manage to take him down though as the Tempered Fate will connect onto Cuz. Great double knock up here as now Zeus is out of the fight and BDD is so incredibly big. Viper unable to stand and deliver with these auto attacks. And KT, they've got the Cloud Soul. They had to sacrifice Peter.
They just cannot stay.
Yeah, and the reason, okay, never mind, we got a bit of a fight here, as Delight is already very dead. Peanut crashes on forward, but the turret is going to go down, and now Zeus off on a flank angle is going to nail Doctom with that Shock Blast, actually picking the gap there quite beautifully.
Line here for Doctom, it's going to go fast.
Yep, information goes over though, so HLE, they know what's up, and Delight can throw down the Tempest Fate. Arrow is going to connect onto Peanut, sorry, and they get rid of him. Great knock up there just to make sure that the Skarner is not getting out, because this could equal Baron time as well, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, that was so well played. Peter goes over there, identifies exactly where the Skarner is. They put an arrow on him. He can't steal. And that's Otacon. Viper, where are you going?
Well, the train has left the station, and so has Viper. They do get a fantastic Tempered Fate, but the Arcane Storm does absolutely nothing. Perfect just gets into the mix, but Zeus takes out Peter. It's a noble sacrifice, though. And down goes Viper as well, who was just a little bit of an Owen Wilson there behind enemy lines. Not able to get it done. KT, they'll go back to what they wanted to do before, and they have had a monopoly on these objectives, only losing out on, I think maybe, no, nothing.
That's
actually
fine.
Nothing. Every neutral objective has gone to KT this game.
Yeah, though, every single one. That sign that we keep showing is this, Cuz has to live for KT to live.
and they don't have cards. That's how it kind of works.
Yeah, but it's, yeah, or more or less.
Yeah, so it's a rough time. Let's just say that as far as objectives are concerned and extra stats and stuff like that. So well coordinated.
Yeah, and it's like
every arrow that comes out is followed by like a smite happening, and Peter is now caught, but he flashes away. It's a different story here. Is now Peter. I'm not sure about that one, Peanut, but the Tempered Fate not really doing anything for HLE's benefit. KT had just spared some turret shots.
It's KT also in this game where they're constantly holding on to the control. You know, they're never letting it go. They're taking a lead and pushing it so well. And we haven't seen KT get as many leads as they'd like to, especially some of the early game drafts they've picked. But this time, they were able to get it early, and they just won't let it go. And I'm not making any errors. Zeka, on the other hand, is making a big error here.
Yep. There is an Elder Dragon. Some bounty gold coming on through here, but there's the dragon comes down from the sky. Winter's Bite is pretty powerful. And Passive Blow's procced, and that is the main wave clear now dead. KT are just marching it up this bottom lane, and this is even more decisive than game number 1.
And I stand by. I don't think this draft was better for KT, but sometimes comfort can be enough, man. And Perfect on this tank, Cuz on his Nidalee, Doctom on his iconic Ashe.
BDD on this Corki that he's like dominating on, watching him Valkyrie over this base gate, looking like he's having the best time ever.
Sometimes you're just the better team.
Yep. BDD just walking the dog, man. Look at him go. There it is. Taking down the Jace. Peanut going to get snagged by the arrow, and it doesn't matter how many times he gets Mikhails, he is still dead. Down goes Viper as well. It's a double kill here for BDD on the 9-0-4 Corki. There goes the Nexus, and KT, they'll take game number 2. Don't ask me what it means, but it was an impressive game from KT.
Will KT be the first team to punish, you know, Pop Blossom plus the Jarvan ult, plus the ability to follow
also,
up flag
think about the
drags?
Cataclysm Ghoulie Wall Venn diagram.
My God. And they put Tibbers in there?
Oh my God. Flaming Bear Circle?
And, their mid laner was not anywhere nearby, so...
Delight. Delight is nearby. So is Viper, though, and they're flashing for it. Cocoon barely missing. And Perfect is just going to go down. That is first blood going over to Viper of all people.
From Viper.
All right, Peter going to get a snare onto Delight. He doesn't have a large health bar as he goes up into the sky, but the Spider does have to come down. So that is going to be a kill going on over to Cuz. A pretty happy Jarvan here who does want to get accelerated in this game.
So now there's no one dealing with top, although Zeus should be able to catch some of these.
God,
and
the
it's just
skin
a free
is so
dragon.
cute as well. The Ghoulie cat wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only Yorick skin you're allowed to play it.
It's pretty good. There have been some real weird ones that we've seen. I don't know whether that just makes him a gardener or something, but I don't know.
I feel that way when I clean a litter box in the morning.
Yeah, well, Peanut feels that way right now as he is in a little bit of trouble, but the rest of his team's here to try and defend him. Good flash out from Cuz, but Zeus there to defend him immediately. Great knockup from the Fates Call, though, and they execute the Ambessa. And now Delight just has to try and bail out of it, but look, Zeker's also losing a trade here in this mid lane, and it's not over yet. There's the Cocoon landing, the Ren to slow down Delight, and a flash forward from Peter. He's not giving this Spider any way out. And KT back on the board in a big way.
Yeah, things and be a 5-man unit that only comes around once in a while.
Yep, Delight gonna have to flash immediately here as well. They turn the Cocoon onto him because Delight knows that he has no other way out. And it is now just the Goon Squad, man. They're just moving around, looking to try and take down everyone that they can find. It is going to be one of the grubs being taken here, but that is still going to be feats of strength, able to go over to KT, or at least a third of one, as now Perfect just back into domination position here.
And KT will take the rest of the grubs, so at least Peanut was able to get one. He's also kind of hanging around here because Zeka has prio.
And it used to be that taking one of the grubs felt really good because you denied like the objective and all that sort of stuff.
Some pretty good plays so far this game already. Yep, Viper.
Oh dear. Well, Pop Blossom is going to come on through there, and Peanut comes on over, but Viper is already dead. So Peanut gets in there, throws out a thing, and then says, no, I will leave. And does so. Now Cuz coming on over, gets the flash out of Zeka, and then puts him in the Cataclysm. And he's just waiting for some way to get out. He is going to be able to do so as, oh my goodness.
Don't do it!
That's a tilt. Don't do it! He hits him with a flag and takes down the Azir.
You're just not that safe. Like, Delight has died 3 times this game, getting caught or basically trying to bail somebody else out who was caught. Because it's more valuable for him to die than somebody else. But either way,
they'll quite get here in time if they do decide to go for the dive. The shovel comes out as Peanut. Let's see whether they can actually finish him off before this bottom lane arrives. Peanut having to flash because the Ghoulie Wall caught him in a very awkward scenario. And Cuz, of course, going to get on in here. Public Execution comes down, but Cuz, eyes on the prize, and is going to be able to take down the overgrown Poro. Peanut nowhere to go and will just be eviscerated. So Cuz continues the onslaught. 4-0-2. Not over. And this turret, it's going to go down. So that'll be first turret going over to HLE. That's going to give them a legitimate gold lead at this point in time. As KT look to grab themselves a Rift Herald. Yep, let's see whether KT are going to get the memo or not. As there's the Glacial Prison. The combo comes in. Tibbers goes down as well. But Cuz just manages to kill the Ambassador. They go 1 for 1. But it is still HLE with control of the river. That was pretty sexy, I have to say. As 4 versus 5, Perfect is still in the bottom lane. And Peter is not going to be stealing anything away with a Blooming Burst.
Somehow we're able to just walk up and start this dragon.
Yep, Rift Herald is just going to take down the mid-outer turret, and that is the price that KT are going to have to pay for Soul Point. I think they'll probably pay it gladly, as they will get another charge. Maybe not quite as glad, as we'll see whether a Ghoulie Wall is going to come on through. It's not.
Delight's going to just zoom away with his dash cannon, but I think for KT, you're very happy because, well, it might be happier.
Yeah, Viper is just going to get cataclysmed. Flashes out of that one. Does definitely have to do so as the Fates Call comes in. Peter finds the Pop Blossom, and down goes Peanut.
Here for free. And KT got an objective without having to fight. And I think they're super happy with that because no matter what, they would not have been able to fight for that dragon had Hanwha Life Esports just not set up for it. They were so late to drop the Herald. Sure, they traded for turrets, but top laner that is definitely felt here for KT Rolster.
Ooh. Peter in a little bit of trouble, but now it's Cuz actually that is almost just taken out, and in fact the burn will be enough. Viper locks down the kill in the end. And losing your jungler right now, a pivotal moment here with the Otacon available in HLE. They could get an absolutely massive advantage by taking this down, and they know it. They're going to get on the objective immediately.
Yeah, and for KT, you just have to index into trying to take out these turrets, but the mid turret is so healthy.
Yeah, Public Execution brings AS over the wall there as the Fates Call is going to bring back Peter. Maybe a little bit overly enthusiastic there from the top laner, but still, the Otacon goes down. And that is just stats and experience that KT will not be able to get themselves.
And that's significant because, like you said, this dragon is KT's only thing to fight for. They're catching Zeus.
This would be a better kill, as there's the flash forward from Doctom. So many sticks, and down he goes.
Uh-oh.
Right before the dragon. And I said the last kill could potentially impact the dragon. It turns out, yes, it could, especially if he dies again as the flash Tibbers. The repel does come on in though. Peter with the Pop Blossom is fantastic. Empress Divide from Zeka, but he's so low. Perfect's going to be able to get on top of the Azir, and Cuz is still fighting. Doctom is massive. Delight manages to get out. Viper as well, but they're not going to be stopping this Infernal Soul. KT?
I mean,
really?
They might have done it, Atlas. I mean, I still think that Zeus is 1-4 in this game. Went Edge of Night. Interestingly enough, didn't notice that until now, but finally hoping to get that mid turret. This route onto Peanut will certainly help.
Yeah, KT with eyes on the prize actually able to get this early rotation over, and the bear comes down. Delight in a lot of trouble, but does go up into the sky to keep himself alive. Perfect there with the shovel, able to take this one down as Cuz is battling against Zeus. Zeus gets into the mix, but is immediately taken down. The culling will be cancelled, and that is not the right Nico. Zeka throws out the Emperor's Divide, but it's very defensive, but maybe it's defensive enough as Viper just going ballistic. Doctom gonna go down, and there is the KT throwaway. Ladies and gentlemen, HLE, they picked their moment, and this was about the last chance they had.
Viper said, you know what? I will clean up the fight. I will pop off at the end of it. All those low health bars. Viper goes in for the chase. And once again, Viper will clean up HLE's mess. And KT will not be the first team to punish what has been otherwise a very shaky HLE. And the 11th time in a row. I mean, HLE now going up to 12 wins.
All right, there are 2 minions here. There are a lot of minions here. So Peter, he's going to do his very best to try and defend this, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. As now BDD comes over, he's flashing forward. Okay, half the health bar on the Nexus. Can they keep it alive is the question, as Viper needs another couple of shots, and it's Zeus that has to do it. The Nexus survives. We are in this game for at least a little bit longer as the counter race comes in.
What an insane game this is turning out to be.
Does nothing as well.
The Emperor's Divide from Zeka denies it, and Viper just follows through, and he and Zeka do clean up house. And it's Hanwha getting the full ace if he's given enough time, but
BDD is looking to spot that one out. As you can see here, HLE had started this one up, but BDD has found Delight. He spotted out. It was a cunning ruse, but it's not going to quite work out. There is now Viper looking for Cuz. He just flags and drags and gets Nico out. And now Fate's Call going to come on through. Down goes the Nico, but can KT actually find an angle as Peanut goes down? Now the only smite is over the side of KT. The flash forward, down goes Viper. Delight, can you save the game? The Nexus turrets are respawning, and he cannot kill them. Oh no, the itsy bitsy spider. He went up the spout, but he didn't read the patch notes!
Oh no, Delight didn't track those Nexus timers. Down he goes here. BDD scouting that flank from Delight, scouting it out, punishing him, then TPing into the fight. And Hanwha, I think they tried to get a little bit too tricky here. And KT Rolster in a great position to try to end this game now. However, Viper up in 3. They can't kill the Nexus, but maybe they can win a fight with Elder.
Yep, I mean, they've got the Elder Drake, right? So they should be in a good position to win a fight, but it's going to have to be an honest 5v5 to light up in 2 seconds' time.
Peter is holding the mid wave. There is a ward in the main base. Zeus' teleport's coming back soon, so and maybe Hanwha could just stave off the pressure for 30 more seconds here.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a lot of mitigation here from HLE as the mid inner turret does go down like you were talking about.
Viper's ult.
Yeah, that's just to try and clear out the wave as best they can. HLE is still formidable from here as we can see, but it is going to cost them the inhibitor no matter what. Now the fight is attempted to be started.
BDD got back without using teleport, so he can teleport back into the fight after he defends this.
Well, Tibbers does go down. Man, the Pyroblast doing a lot of damage there. Zeka has to run away from an angry Tibbers.
Okay, they're going to now use this Kalista to try to rush down this Baron. They have all that extra Rin damage. They have essentially 2 smites here. BDD can TP in straight in the middle of this fight. He's chasing Zeka now.
Yep, Zeus has a good angle as Viper is hitting mainly the Baron right now. The Culling not doing a whole lot of work as it is going to be the Baron secured by KT. And HLE, they're pausing. They're not quite sure what they want to do in this moment. Fate's Call going to be committed to.
Zeus doesn't commit to anything. He just sits on the flank, doesn't actually commit in. And
he makes the, the ghoulie cataclysm Venn diagram. Maybe that's how you do it.
Zeus this time unseen. This time unseen. They don't know where he is. BD wants to check. Blast Cone taken away. He knows he's likely there.
Yeah. He is now over the wall. He can use this Blast Cone, gets in behind the rest of his team.
Is this just checkmate?
Vesser is wrapping around. Now it's just going to be a 50-50. Peter goes golden, breaks an arm guard there as the Maiden getting amongst it. And it's Cuz that takes down the Elder. Peter will find the Pop Blossom before going down. And Zeus is having to flash out of there. BDD gets over, destroys the Lucian. The Emperor's Divide goes down, but you cannot divide by Dragon. And KT will get the ace, and they are going to win this game.
I think in this series, Cuz showing up big. They've been calling him the Dragon Slayer, and he slayed the biggest of them all.
He slayed all of them. Actually, every single one. Only the Otacon, but that's not a dragon. That does not count. And KT join Gen G as one of the only teams to defeat HLE this season. Absolutely absurd. Croco and Morgan really going to have to step up as far as that is concerned because Braum is not an engaged champion.
No, certainly not. And I do think you have to play through topside here as Bro. I mean, you have to try to give Morgan some resources, get him ahead. Aware of this. Have a control ward, though, in the pit. I don't think Owner can really stop this. He is going to come over here and verify that, in fact, this Dragon is going. He'll be flashing for a 50-50, though.
It's feeling a little bit like a 4v3, but the Drake does go over to the Bros, and T1 will just back away.
Croco has ult. They're just so slow with this. I feel like they're going to contest. They needed to do it moments ago, and they're just simply going to give this up.
Yep, I think they realized that they weren't actually able to do it. Still had to deal with the minion wave towards the top side of the map, and so the Bros just going to give the grubs, and they'll look to fight elsewhere. Closer in this mid lane, still doing okay. As you can see, he's keeping that health bar in a really good spot up against Faker, who's using his in trade for minions. And Closer is just fine. Damn, that was some dancing.
Yeah, that was really impressive from Closer. Just also how much confidence he had. And that allows him to just get the Dragon for free, because they see Owner coming, and Closer's like, all I have to do is not die, and this is a win for us. It's 2 Dragons for Bro. Aggression from Owner, but now he's going to get a stun at least.
Yeah. Croco is just going to push Faker away. Grand Starfall now available for the Pantheon, as now Polo looking for an angle, but it's Owner that comes on through. He gets stunned up, though. The Arcane Storm comes down. Magnus Storm's there as well. It's Stormy here in this bottom lane as Faker gets into the back line. Croco goes down first. Polo second to follow. And T1 just wiped 2 off the map. They're just too clean.
As Closer is the next target and the next victim.
Yeah, this gravity field is doing a lot of work, as we can see. Carrier is going to go down. The teleport from Morgan comes on in there, as now Faker looking to turn it onto Hype. Melee range with this Sylas is not where the Misfortune wants to be, as that bullet time, it was time for something else, I think, in that particular moment. Morgan's going to be able to take down Owner, though, and it makes it a little bit better there for the Bros.
It's like the gun that when you pull the trigger, a flag comes out, like in the mask.
Yeah, a little bit like that. As Croco almost deals with the wave.
Is on top of you as a Sylas, and you're like, oh god, don't mess this up.
Yep, and it's like, in this game, it's the first real advantage. It is going to be feats of strength going over to T1 as well, as this top lane outer turret falls down. Doran kind of getting massive, which is a little bit of a problem. However, the gold is not, it's not in a ridiculous lead for T1.
No!
Now Faker also going to be face checking here. Croco and Polo there, Closer with the damage, and this Sylas is going to try its very best to get out. It's not going to work. And so the Bros pulling closer and closer with T1 once again.
How do you like hide on push?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's going to be, it looks like, potentially a turret in exchange here. Now, they did make this play successfully because Owner was on the other side of the map, but that also means Owner is going to get the Herald for free, so that's going to be a lot of damage potentially put into this mid turret. That's sitting at like 60-ish%.
Yep.
So 1 turret apiece as Closer finishes off that bottom turret with a play onto Faker. We'll see what that Herald ends up being used for, because they have a 2 Drake lead. I'm just not going to allow that. You guys push up bottom side, Doran push bottom side. We get Prio for Dragon. We already have Prio mid. I TP top. I deny them that turret in exchange, and we get the Dragon. It's like these moments where you can see T1 are thinking like 3 steps ahead, and Bro just end up with nothing.
Yeah. Bro also, I feel like, had an opportunity to play for that soul, but they just didn't really look interested. As now Doran, speaking of not being interested, he probably would prefer not to die here as the public execution does go down. Polu going to turn up there as well, and yeah, with Winter's Bite stacking up, down he will go. He's just trying to make sure that Closer's life is as difficult as possible. And the Rift Herald going to be getting a charge, so it's likely going to cut open this mid lane as Doran looking for some of that needlework. Of course, you need to land it here to get all of that sustain that the Gwen does have. And Kerry is moving up. Morgan just not going to quite find it here as he looks to try and dash away, but the Shattering Strike comes in, and Doran, he's running with scissors. He's real scary.
That was a cool attempt there from Morgan to try to use Carrier to get out.
It's on the Dragon, so they don't have to deal with both of them just yet. As now Gumiushi could be in trouble. He has to flash to get out of the way of the Winter's Bite there, as well as now Owner might be paying for his sins. Morgan getting amongst it, and the Crescent Guard not quite working, but Croco also down extremely low. Guma takes so long to go down, but Doran, he's not immune. Neither is Carrier, and Faker realizing that he's going to have to cut his losses. This could just be Otacon time for the Bros. But they're going to move towards the mid lane instead. See what the answer is here from T1. Ambessa on that top side of the map to teleport in from the Gwen to start this one off. Gravity Well now on cooldown as in comes Morgan. It's a 5v5, it's going to be honest, but that Magnus Storm is so good, and the Bros are going down so low. Croco able to grab Soul Point, but can they actually stay alive in the fight? That's the question. Grand Starfall, and he just exits. All right, and they just call for the disengage.
Yeah, very close to dying anyways, but he is able to channel it and get away. Closer's going to clear this wave. Can he actually get the turret here? That would be massive. He's just got these 2 ranged minions, and I think he has just enough damage to take this one out. He's going to have to do one more shot, and he'll get it. And I think he gets away too. Doran is the only one nearby, and he's got his buddy there. Now they're losing Otacon, of course, for this, but I think that went about as well as it could have for Bro after that fantastic Magnet Storm from Keria. This time, he has the ultimate to be so ready for when you play against T1.
100%. 30 seconds now on the Chemtech Soul as well. Shattering Strike comes down. There's the chain CC. Magnet Storm as they commit onto Hype, who has to flash very early in this fight. Ona dashing forward, but there's Polu with the save. Crescent Guard does come on down as now the rest of the cavalry will turn up. Ona, the first one to fall, is Hype using that Bloodthirster to get his health bar back. It's a good Deadly Flourish to try and save Keria, but the Grand Starfall gets Croco in, and down he goes. I'm not entirely sure about that particular play. Is now T1 feeling like this is their opportunity, but Morgan gets into that backline as Gumyushi's in so much trouble. Still, so much burst damage onto him. And the Bros, they managed to take down Ona, but Croco, just in light of fairness, is going to throw his life away as well.
He said jungle for jungle.
Yeah, that's the trade.
And they are going to be able to turn. It's still a 1-team fight, even though it's a 1-for-1. Like, they won the subsequent fight, so T1 lower health bar is not able to contest. I mean, they're trying to come over here. A big flank from Doran.
Yeah, and Faker actually had the Grand Starfall. The Bros trying to get back into position, and they may have bitten off more than they could chew. Closer trying to do what he can here with his AoE damage, but down goes Hype. Gumyushi stands his ground, and even though the gravity field is good, it's not good enough. It's a triple here for the Gwen as Keria with some supportal combat against Polu. He gets the Gromp involved, and Gumyushi's delivered a kill. That is soul denial, and it's a bit soul crushing as well for the Bro Leavers.
It certainly is. T1 taking a significant gold lead off of this. Faker's already got his eyes on Baron Vision as well here, and ends up just exploding. But they end up winning the subsequent fight. Now they're on Baron.
Oh god, oh god, oh god. Okay, well Croco is just going to get executed, and the Baron will go over to T1. Baron plays in T1. They're pretty good at it. And that is going to secure them that. And it's so T1, right?
On these big objectives. And that team fight win, the later part of it, the second version of it, you could say, is what gets them the Baron. They deny Croco entry, no 50-50, no smite steal, a dead jungler. And like you said, T1 are going to turn this into an 8K plus gold lead, very likely.
Yeah, that's the danger. So far, haven't really picked up too much. Is now Hype able to sidestep very nicely. But Croco is fighting with Doran, and Doran is just fighting with the turret. And he's going to win that battle. Is Croco going to have to flash over the wall? Hype with these auto attacks is pretty scary, and Faker having to go golden, but he's still going to die. And the Arcane Storm also pushing T1 away. So even though they've got the Baron, they're not going to be able to utilize it. We were talking about the fact that T1 pretty good at ballooning it. I think with that last play, doesn't quite work out, as Croco is possibly once again dead. Keria able to use the Magnet Storm and get out, but Croco will survive for the moment. Bullets flying on in here as Ona on a ward right now, and Gumyushi will find the last shot, take down the Pantheon.
Closer hates Croco confirmed.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's so unfair.
No, it just wasn't even necessary.
You just stand in front of him, man. As Dagon also a little bit upset about it, but that interruption from Polu, the president, might be making things happen, and the Lord decrees that it is time to get into the backline and win this game. The Gwen gonna go down, and Morgan is still up, pushing Faker away, but Faker does manage to take down Closer. It's a lot of the DPS now missing.
Morgan find them. I think the answer is yes.
Yep, Guma trying to escape, but the captive audience, Deadly Flourish, and he just does a lot. So yeah, Morgan does get into melee range, but then what?
They end up winning the fight until Morgan goes in, and Guma has reloaded, and he has enough DPS to shoot 4 times at an Abessa who's rooted, and he does.
And now we have 3 dragons on both sides.
Have full vision control, and I don't know how much agency hype Croco and Morgan are really going to have here, as this Baron is just gone.
Yeah, we don't have any scrying ability, and it's just going to get taken down. So the Bros, they're going to choose a different time to fight, is what I expect.
I just don't think they could have fought there for Bro, but sit back and give Baron and let T1 win the game is not really the option I was looking for. Is Croco?
Yeah, he's going to have to flash, but he's probably dead. Yeah, and by probably, I mean definitely.
If you're going to be there, you might as well just hold the Baron pit.
Very true.
I'm being mean, but I don't know. That's going to cost them big, because now that's no flank angle, real way to shut down this Baron at all. I mean, not for 40 more seconds while he's in the death chamber.
Well, now Morgan has found Faker and Keria trying to get something done here in this mid lane. Morgan does do a fair bit of work. As you can see, the rest of the Bros are going to turn up. So this Tower will survive. So you can see T1, they are pulling them around. Doran still pushing towards that top side, and Faker just immediately teleports back. Like you say, they are so good at making sure that you have to be aware of everything.
The 1-3-1 power, when you have this much control over the map, I mean, it kind of plays itself. You just go to the lanes and let the minions do the work and start sieging up from forever away.
Yep, and there it is. Tower goes down. Ona goes in immediately as the Arcane Storm is down. Closer goes Golden, and now Hype in the back line has his GA pop very, very early in this one. Doran's running with scissors all over the place, and that is just so much, too much for the bros to deal with. Croco goes down. Doran's underneath 2 Nexus turrets and just goes Golden and says, this is totally fine. They'll take these ones down, and T1 move to 1-0 in their match against the bros, looking to get revenge for round 1.
The confidence to play it often, you have to imagine, because there's been so many drafts where it was the perfect angle and he went for the Xayah instead he went for something else that was safe. He's going to play it here. It fits the bill. By T1 as Bro just... Ooh, nice shove. For some pressure more. Faker's flash still down. He used his charm.
Charm doesn't actually hit onto anything at all, but Ona is moving in here. Threaded volley doing a fair bit of work. There's Croco just trying to bide his time as now Faker getting on in there, and Croco is in so much trouble. He flashes, he finds the Q, and the monkey will live. The doggos don't find the daggers either, and Closer is now looking to finish off Ona if he can. Carrier comes in, and that is going to be the cow saying no to all these shenanigans. Wow. A lot of animals in the mid lane, but a big win for the bros.
Flash Q from Croco, and Doran's in trouble now.
Wait, the flash forward, the ghoulies, the maiden, are they going to be able to get the kill? That little ghoul, it's not going to be enough, okay. Whoa.
It's really only Guma's Ezreal that has a gold lead right now here for T1 anywhere. As well. Once again, solid early is Faker. Where are you at?
Oh dear.
Rocks are down.
Yeah, the rocks go down, and Faker not going to be able to do too much about getting out of the way of this one. It's good charm onto Closer, but I don't think it's going to save him, and it in fact does not. There is yet another kill, and showing on Vision. And it is going to be grub number 1 going on over to the bros.
Yeah, they got it without Smite, so they still have a Smite for a second one here, so looking very good for a 2 for 3.
Yep, Hype moves on in. And the True Shot Barrage getting a fair bit of value. In fact, over all 3 of them is massive, but it is a 2-for-1 trade as far as the grubs are concerned.
Doran getting Cryo there on the top side really warped how that was going to go. Nice avoid here from Carrier as well. They took the pressure in the top side, turned into a grub.
See Ona taking this one down pretty comfortably.
And I think they're going to kill Doran. Yeah, I think they're going to kill Doran in exchange. But Doran, potentially aware of this, see what he decides to do. They're going to get a plate at worst case scenario, but I think they're going to get a Jace too. As here comes the Wukong.
Yes, I think Doran getting the idea that he's going to have to try and clear out the wave. The Ghoulie Wall comes down, the arrow sails on through, so does the True Shot Barrage, that's pretty cute. Faker's teleport, just that little bit too late, not going to be able to save the Jace.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, he's going to get this Demolish proc he didn't get a second ago, and it's just gone.
Yep.
That doesn't cancel teleports anymore, so he may be dead.
Well, he's just going to teleport himself because he knows, oh, the charm has to land, but it does not get it there in time. You can see Morgan with the most gold in the game.
I think there was a real window for T1 to try to do something a little bit more aggressive while Closer was showing there on the bottom lane and try to make something happen for this Herald, but they instead kind of slow-played it. Faker was a very long rotation down to the bottom lane. And now Morgan's going to get this turret for free. He doesn't need the Herald for this one. And I don't know if Faker will be able to say the same about this bottom turret. He has Owner with him, but others are coming down. Closer has Weaver's Wall, and he's going to get a lot of this turret. I'm not sure he's going to get the whole thing. And I think he won't.
No, he's going to have to run away from Closer here, and even going to get thrown back. Nice charm was already in the air as Closer running pretty quickly.
Hype has arrow.
Phase Rush does proc, and it does work against Faker, actually, as Ona here in position.
Are not known to be down 2 turrets at 20 minutes, you know? This is a quite unusual situation as Morgan.
It's a really long lane, by the way. There's the Morning Mist, and there is the Ghoulie Wall. Doran is just dead. He didn't even need to shovel him. Giggle.
Yeah.
That's probably where I'd be at. As, yeah, Morgan's like, okay, my minions are better than yours,
I mean, he's so big. He has Shojins.
Yeah, look at this.
He kills him if he doesn't
He's able to flip out of there. But now it's Gumayusi's turn. Faker comes in. Great sidestep. I think Morgan is definitely dead, but he's demonstrating that he's pretty scary. Gets a bunch of his health back. He's running around in circles. The Ghoulie Wall is cute. And the Maiden is going to go down. So Maidenless and dead is Morgan, but Otacon is also dead.
Yeah, I liked it when he killed Doran. That was the good part. The rest
that was the good part.
Was kind of cool because they got Otacon. It looked a little bit funny, but so many people have to come to deal with the side lane pressure threat. That is exactly what you want with your side laner.
If Doran dies again, then it's 100% worth, as he has to go in because he knows that he's dead. Good flash comes out there, but Closer puts himself in. The Cyclone from Croco is extraordinary, and they just keep the doggo in the sky, and Closer survives.
Yeah, untarget all this!
Yeah, exactly, as the turret also goes down, as the cannon minion acting as the 6th man on the rift.
So weird. Not on my mid laner!
Yeah, they are all defending Closer. Doran is fighting Croco. I think my money's on Croco if it's a fair 1v1. As Morgan, yeah, this is just gone. The Maiden going to be put back together. Morgan no longer Maidenless as he gets this wave put together once more. I mean, Apollo also standing his ground against Ono. That is a sign of how this game is going.
Also, I don't see the way back into the game for T1 unless they make a mistake.
Oh, there's a flash forward as over the wall goes Croco. He's got another section of Cyclone here. I'm pretty sure there it is. He uses it to make his escape. The seismic shove delivers the dog over towards the bros. And they will say thanks for that one. It's not the hot dog this time around, but they're going to still say it's delicious. As Doran looking to try and finish off Polo here, but he's made it to safety.
Burst this one down, and even Morgan's getting involved, but this is a scary angle here for Bro.
Yeah, Bro really want the turn, and they are going to find it here as down goes the Talia. Morgan gets in amongst it, though, as the goalie wall is down. Polo looking to try and make something happen. The flash forward from Hype's crazy, but it just might work. As down goes Gumayushi in that backline. Morgan is making sure no one else can get in here.
T1 is the tennis ball that Bro keep pulling from side lane to side lane. And now looking for more onto Faker. Good charm.
Yeah, and now Faker is kind of in a box. They do put the wall down, but the seismic shove going to pull him back, and man, he had absolutely nowhere to go. Down goes the Fox Lady.
I mean, who's going to deal with Yorick now, by the way? Morgan's level 16. I think so. I don't think this inhibitor turret's got it, man. I don't think so.
Doran is shoveling, man, and he's shoveling strongly. Doran comes on over. He's going to stop the inhibitor itself from going down.
Mistakes and play the macro game perfectly, using the Talia so well.
Well, Faker is, yeah, speaking of caster curses, they are real. And the arrow going to connect onto Carrier, who uses the ultimate to deny it. So down goes Closer. Polo going to taxi on the crab and does manage to evict the doggo. But the Bros now in a whole lot of trouble. One after the other, they are going down. As at least it was the decoy that fell there. The flash charm going to be able to pick up Croco, but the goalie wall will just deny. Owner able to front flip his way out. But there is the Warrior Trickster from Croco. He has to use the flash as well, though, as Ona going to get slowed down. There's the blast cone. Morgan just getting amongst it. And he puts a goalie wall down. That's going to make sure that even the Maiden survives.
I mean, there's a potential Baron angle here if they're confident enough to do so. Line here on the edge. Hype can't get through, and T1 off of the skirmish will take the Baron.
Yep, teleport going to come in from Closer. We'll see how many Barons they can actually take off the map, off the back end of this one. I think Doran is definitely dead, as they're just trying to work out whether they can get anyone else. So here's the consolation Jace, and T1 absolutely happy.
I wonder if Bro can just push this naked inhibitor in the bottom lane and try to take that out before T1 can get reset here. Send somebody down there. Faker teleports to the turret. Arrow?
Yeah, going to get the ulti out of Faker. Should mean that this inner turret is going to fall down. So against the flow of play, Bro going to be able to at least get this one back. The Rebel Baron power play getting closer and closer to the negatives.
Now Doran's just alone inside. Almost got the turret. Good try.
Dearie me. Well, there goes the shield.
You don't have turrets.
Heroic charge comes on in. Weaver's Wall going to block him off, so that is just a free kill onto the Jace.
I mean, there's turrets everywhere for Bro. Like, T1 only got the mid turret. Every other turret is alive. So Doran has to go so deep and like can't kill the turret. Then he's just cut off by a Weaver's Wall, and that's the inhibitor. You know, it's just stuff like this that is Bro running circles around what is it, a very attempted Baron power play, but barely in the positives. Faker picks up that topside turret. They're second of the game.
Urgently as well. There's now Morgan throwing out some mist, but as you can see, it's Hype getting to work on the second inhibitor for the Bros. And the base is getting so small here for T1. They just don't seem to have too many answers. And they're putting the Yorick into the only other side of the map that does have an inhibitor. As I say that, he's teleporting into the mid lane because there is a sole point to fight for. Ona goes untargetable to avoid the arrow.
Lane that Doran is dealing with, he can teleport over. Super minions starting to stack up, two of them in the bottom lane. I don't think T1 can win this, or maybe a steal.
Crucial Barrage was cute.
Fairly close.
Yeah, not quite enough, but yeah, as you say.
Kill Morgan is just not realistic.
And also when you've got 2 inhibitors down, it just makes this play so comfortable. The Unbreakable will onto Carrier there as the Charm will connect as Morgan is making his way over, but I don't think you're winning that 1v1 as the flash forward from Polo is massive. The triple knock-up from Croco as well on this Wukong. Gumayusi goes down and Carrier alongside him. And Doran, of course, is dead at the same time. Faker still in this 1v1 as the Blast Cone might save his life. And the popcorn for Dagon is tasting better and better as the bros look to knock down the Nexus and bring us to a Game 3. Oh, what a day for a 6-gamer, Wolf.
Oh man, back-to-backs, in fact. And bro said you're not getting your revenge against us tonight.
Shen videos on YouTube.
You know what?
Like full games of Shen. And Shen, when he gets going, is absurdly good.
You know what? I guess you guys were right all along. Fearless is pretty cool. 2 years ago, actually, Bulldog's debut year. Here comes Croco.
Yeah, he's walking over Vision. But of course, Carrier wanting to use his grand exit in order to make this one work. The Pillar of Filth goes down, and now Gumayusi on the other side of the rift. Let's see whether this Feather recall is going to work out. It's Croco that eats all of them. The Ebb and Flow doing so much work. And there's one more auto, and that is going to do it. Chef's kiss there for Hype as he picks up first blood.
It's alone with it, but I think he should be able to, take that plate away. So feeling pretty good about the tempo that he gains from this, despite dying there in the bottom lane. Very even game here. Really only that first blood, the difference maker, but the Dragon does go over to Bro. Laning phase here for Closer once again, starting off well. Again, kind of a cheat lead because of the level 1, but the grubs off of this, which is kind of crazy. Like,
yeah, we haven't actually seen very much Trundle recently. Do the little Void Mites that pop out give King's Tribute to Trundle?
I actually don't know the
answer. You just have infinite health all the time? Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I guess they do. I actually haven't really seen this interaction before.
So Trundle is like the healthiest at taking down the Void Grubs. There you go.
Yeah. And I mean, I think obviously it's going to be really nice for him in situations like this too, where things get a little bit brawly. Is
Hype gonna get flashed on there by Faker. Ona gonna come on over as well. There is the dash forward, and the kill goes over to Faker. You can see Ona holds the auto.
He plays with it just yet. Still early days, of course, but
ooh, Bubble looking pretty nice here as Carrier going to get denied as Croco puts down the pillar. And there's a big old shield, but it's not going to be enough. The Tidal Wave going to get a cute little knock-up onto Faker here. But now Hype moving on in. Will he be able to find any value? That's the question. There's the culling right on top of Gumayusi.
A lot of skirmishing power. You have a lot of safety with the Xayah as well. And Bro need to be respecting the power of these skirmishes, especially the burst damage that this Talon does bring to the table. But
keep things shoved up. Closer picking things up from the ground. Ona now possibly out of position as he dives onto Croco. Croco gonna get a big old shield as the bubble is decent. There's a knock-up from Polo as well, but only lands onto Gumayusi as now the culling from Hype zones them really nicely. Doran able to get himself out of there with the leap strike, but the trouble bubble is going to come through. Closer, can he find the paddle star? The answer is not quite enough damage as Hype wanting to get it done, but the counter strike was so good, still he just flashes in. That's the way to get it done. That will take down the Jax. And in the meantime, Morgan is in the side lane. I think he gave a good old shield to the Jax and not too much more than that. Shield to his team, not much more than that.
Not really trying to do anything big on this play, but
Closer, sometimes you can actually get that one through. It's still going to land the paddle star. That looks pretty nice.
And Faker takes a big chunk of damage. Croco is still here, by the way. Faker's already dashed. The pillar looking for Guma.
The pillar is such high value alongside this Zoe as Gumayusi's in so much trouble. The jump! And it's going to be Croco that takes him down. Still, the bubble connects onto Carrier. And it's a 1-for-1 trade. Closer picks up a flash, and he may need it. But the trouble bubble going to come through. Hey, the flash comes forward, and Hype's going to look for another one. Doran is respawned and come back in, and we'll just eliminate the rest of the bros. And in the meantime, Morgan in the bottom lane.
Chemtech Dragon is up and available. Guma has his ult, even though he doesn't have Summers. I feel like this is just T1's prize, and bro, we're going to trade it for a Rift Herald.
Yeah, that looks to be the option. I was trying to figure it out. I looked at the top of the screen. I'm like, oh, it's only 18.5 minutes into this game.
It's so fun to watch. Oh, hold that thought.
Oh, nice little electrocute proc there from Hype.
It's so fun to watch comps that teams very clearly have full mastery on. We're like, okay, 100% we know how to sub on this Dragon. And then watching this, where you're like, do we go Dragon? Do we go Herald? Better just call randomly, I don't know.
Well, in they go. There's a big old tidal wave. This is crazy. Polo is going to explode, but look at these health bars on T1. If Closer finds anyone with a bubble.
Mission now finally feel confident to take the Herald, and I think this is a reasonable take.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Hype dashing forward towards Gumayusi as Carrier, holding on to his position. As Pillar of Filth goes down once again. I know it's the Pillar of Ice, but because this is the OG Trundle skin, then it's still a Pillar of Filth.
It's still filthy. I mean, I don't know.
It is, exactly. As now, Battlestar not going to quite find the mark here, and of course, Zoe is so feast or famine. Either you hit it or you do nothing at all. As the bubble comes in, he does collect himself a bit of a sleepy time. The exhaust goes down on top of him, and he's going to try and get out, but I think he's still dead. So there is the first kill.
They need more.
And another bubble connects onto Faker as well.
Just
I don't think so either.
Doran.
Unless he can take this outer turret, maybe turn that into also an Otacon, that would be huge.
I mean, I think that's the Otacon might be a bridge too far, but at least they do get the turret. They're going to clear that ward, it looks like, in the mid lane as Morgan's going to defend Faker's push tools. Morgan has teleport and his ultimate available, so can just stand united with his team when the commit to this Drake take does actually come through from T1. Flank here from Croco.
Yeah, Bro, I think wanting to get themselves soul point this time around is Doran on a great flank angle.
Zoning sleep pretty good.
Yep, Stand United going to have to come in pretty soon, I think. A preemptive one would be great, as there it is on top of Hype. That's a lot of damage onto Carrier, though, not able to get too much value, as finally Morgan actually gets into a battle. Still, the Zoe goes down and Doran gets a great counter-strike. The flash out from Croco might keep him alive, but Morgan not going to be so lucky. Everyone just lying on the floor, and unfortunately, the composition for the Bros just not quite working this time around, as there's the rake, and he just pops over the wall, and there it is.
Yeah, just like dried leaves, the end of autumn, down he will go. And this is going to be mid-turret for free. By the way, Herald not even employed just yet.
Oh, no, Shelly.
Still in training, in fact, yeah.
All right, so she does have a job. She just hasn't turned up yet.
Yeah. She starts
struggled, but the pillar not going to be enough to interrupt Faker there as he teleports out. He sensed it, but there was a lot of bad guys heading towards his top lane.
And, like, that means that that side lane pressure that T1 were trying to collapse on Faker for just kind of ends up being a bunch of wasted members, as Croco's now isolated.
Yeah, he was trying to work out which direction he wanted to go, and Death Chamber, that's the way.
Hey, there she is.
Hey, hello.
Tuesday comes faster than you think.
It certainly does, because last I checked, it was Thursday. Like, we're a long way away from Tuesday right now.
Oh, this is a long 6-gamer.
Yeah, Carrier's doing like some weird stuff here now, pushing Shelly towards the top side. And T1 are on the Baron. It's been spawned for a minute 20, and they already hadn't started it.
I mean,
kinda
bro,
crazy.
they're going to show up. It's going to be quite challenging, though, to get something done. Carrier eats a bit of damage, but it's too late.
Yep. Owner is going to be able to secure that one. Now looking for a flank angle as well. Speaking of flanks, Doran will find, okay, a bubble. So that's going to connect as Polo is just dead. The Shadow Assault just a little bit much there as Hype running out of people protecting him. And in fact, there are none left as Morgan tries to get on top of Gumayusi. And Gumayusi says, thanks for the taunt. That was cute. And nothing else going to really come of it. Croco has just respawned. And the Bros, I think, have ran out of ergs in this particular game.
I do feel like the Dragon fight was probably the last gasp of this interesting experiment, as Croco's going to try to buy time.
Oh, look at that.
Slow down that wave.
There's the pillar. Really beautifully done.
Need 20 more seconds. Need 20 more seconds. But yeah, we knew that Owner was good at carry jungles and assassins, so that's not a shock. But everything else for Bro here was very experimental. It did not work out. Croco tries to buy time here. 10 seconds.
He's just being ignored.
They don't care about him. They want to kill the Nexus.
Yeah, T1 just wants to go home. Eventually he gets swept up by Faker, who goes golden, and he'll remain golden.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.